Imagine a book written almost 2,000 years ago that's been a go-to guide for literally everyone from Shakespeare to Napoleon to Harry Truman. And no, it's not some dusty old history textbook. It's this powerful collection of biographies. So today we're going to crack open Plutarch's Parallel Lives and see it for what it really is, an incredible masterclass in human character. So that brings up the big question, right? What can these ancient stories possibly teach us here in our world of instant everything and a million leadership gurus? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer is pretty much everything that actually matters. Let's get into it. Okay, so first things first. To really get Plutarch, you gotta understand his goal. See, he wasn't just writing down what happened, he was building something, kind of like a mirror for leaders. Or really for anyone who wanted to live a better, more meaningful life. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's what the man himself had to say. He believed that when we study the lives of these great figures, both their wins and their epic fails, something inside us just sparks. It's not just admiration, it's this eagerness, this real desire to imitate their best qualities. You see, he's not just teaching history, he's coaching character. And his method for doing this, it was absolutely genius. He didn't just write a long list of biographies. Nope, he paired them. He'd take a legendary Greek figure, say Theseus, the founder of Athens, and put him right next to a legendary Roman, like Romulus, the founder of Rome. By holding them side by side like that, he could dig into these huge universal human themes, ambition, justice, courage, downfall, across different cultures and centuries. And this, right here, is the heart of that mirror idea. Plutarch basically saw his work as a remedy. When you're bogged down by the nonsense and frustrations of your own time, you can turn to these lives, these noble examples, and it helps you recalibrate your own moral compass. It's a tool for self-reflection that is just as powerful today as it was back in the Roman Empire. All right, so let's actually look into this mirror. What do we see? We're going to start with one of Plutarch's biggest themes, the sheer force of character it takes to build something completely from scratch. A city, a culture, a whole nation. And the first thing Plutarch shows us is that there's no single recipe for greatness. To explore this, he gives us the first two kings of Rome, who, let me tell you, could not have been more different in how they went about building a legacy. So on one side, you've got Romulus. He's the classic warrior founder. He built Rome through pure, raw ambition and even violence, like when he famously seized the Sabine women just to populate his new city. His whole legacy was about conflict and growth. But then, right after him, you get his successor, Numa Pompilius. He inherits this warlike state and completely flips the script. He transforms it through peace, religion, and law, setting up institutions like the Vestal Virgins. Plutarch tells us that during Numa's entire reign, there was neither war nor sedition. And this forces you to ask, right? Which one was the better leader? Plutarch doesn't just hand you the answer. He wants us to wrestle with it. And if you think that's something, wait till you hear about Lycurgus, the legendary lawgiver of Sparta. This guy didn't just build a city. He tried to engineer an entire society with one single laser-focused goal, to create a very specific kind of person, one who was virtuous, self-reliant, and temperate above all else. So this whole idea of engineering character, it brings up a really big question. If you want to build a state like Sparta, what kind of training does that actually take? What's the inner character of a true commander really made of? Whoa, Plutarch's description of Spartan education, it's just intense. It wasn't about learning for learning's sake. It was all about focused, brutal discipline. Their chief care was simple: endure pain and win in battle. Comfort? Forget about it. They went barefoot, had one coat for the entire year, and lived together in barracks. And the training, it was brutal, culminating in this ritual where young men were whipped at an altar, sometimes to death, just to prove they could take it. The whole system was designed to strip away the individual and forge an unflinching soldier. And all that training, it worked. It got deep into their bones. This quote from a Spartan boy just captures that mindset perfectly. It's short, it's respectful, and it puts duty way above any kind of personal comfort. It just shows you a society where discipline and respect for the hierarchy were absolutely everything. But then Plutarch flips the coin and shows us the Roman way, which was different. It wasn't so much about a state-run system of indoctrination as it was about individual will. He gives us Marcus Cato, this general who is the living embodiment of Roman discipline. He drank the same water as his soldiers, not because some system forced him to, but because his own personal character demanded it. Plutarch says he was unconquered by either labor or pleasure, a total testament to self-mastery. Okay, so we've seen how character can build nations and command armies, but Plutarch's mirror has one more pretty humbling reflection for us. What happens when all that character runs smack into pure chaos? What about the role of just plain, unpredictable fortune? To get at this, let's look at a Roman general named Paulus Aemilius. This guy achieves one of the greatest military victories in all of Roman history. He's at the absolute peak. He has everything a leader could ever dream of: victory, glory, power, the whole shebang. But just listen to what he says in his victory speech. It is absolutely breathtaking. Instead of bragging, he talks about how terrifyingly unstable it all is. He's basically asking, if we can't even feel secure in our greatest moment of success, when can we? He got it. The higher you climb, the harder you can fall. And fortune is this wild force that no one, no matter how great, can ever truly command. And get this, just days after this moment of triumph, both of his remaining biological sons died. Just gone, wiping out his direct family line. And this brings us to Pyrrhus, this brilliant Greek general. The guy was a military genius, but he had this one fatal flaw. A rival of his famously said he was like a gambler who makes amazing throws with the dice, but has no idea how to actually play the game. He'd win these huge battles, but he could never hold on to his gains. He was always undone by vain hopes. It just goes to show you that genius without wisdom, well, it's just another one of fortune's victims. Okay, so we've looked at founders, we've looked at commanders, we've even talked about the crazy whims of fate. What's the bottom line here? What are the big lessons we can pull from Plutarch's ancient mirror today? Why does any of this still matter? So here's the breakdown. First off, Plutarch teaches that biography isn't just about facts, it's a tool for thinking about our own moral choices. He also shows us that real leadership is this constant balancing act between what you do and who you are. And a big one? Virtue isn't some accident. It's forged, day by day, through discipline and habit. But he also hits us with this powerful dose of humility, reminding us that even the greatest among us are still at the mercy of fortune. Ultimately, studying these lives gives us a much richer toolkit for navigating our own. At the end of the day, this is probably the most vital lesson of all. History isn't some inevitable force. It's the sum total of billions of individual human choices. Choices about courage and greed, peace and war, discipline and indulgence. And by studying those choices, we can become just a little more intentional about our own. And so, we're going to end by turning that 2,000-year-old mirror directly on ourselves. Plutarch used the lives of others to examine virtue and vice. If he were to look at your life, at your choices, your character, what story would he tell?